Hey guys, good morning, everybody. Today is Wednesday, November 29th. It is 6:21 right now. Market's going to open in about 9 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and set up this room real quick, and we'll get started shortly with our analysis for today. It's got a couple things here to update, and we should be good to go. All right, looks good there. Looks good there. A few more things down here. And looks like we are good to go. Let me get this link sent out to you guys here in the premium. Good. Sent out. All right. So I'll get a few moments for people to make their way in. As people join in, I'm going to go ahead and start marking up liquidity over here. So we'll start off with the daily time frame. There. You'll see a lot of these daily time frames are not really going to get hit. I know it's not really necessary for us to mark these up. It only takes a few seconds, so I figured I might as well just mark them up so that we have them marked up just in case. You want to see how far price can probably go to. So eventually these price points are going to get hit. Might happen. We don't really know when it'll happen. It'll happen at some point, but eventually price tends to reach these high-low points because this is typically where a lot of people place their stop losses. So we got the 4 hour right there going down to the 2 hour. As you can see, as we get closer and closer to the lower time frames, price just gets tighter and tighter because there's not really much movement. But there hasn't been very much movement. And that's normal. Here is the 1 hour time frame. Make some adjustments here. Here is the 30-minute time frame going down to the 15. Going down to the 10. And back down to the 1 minute. All right, so looking at current price right here, we have one level of liquidity, which is currently above right here. It's currently at 35,594. This is going to be the first level of liquidity. The lower level of liquidity is going to be down here at 35,528. So we got two levels of liquidity that are close to each other right here. Price is right in between. So we'll see if, whichever one gets hit. Retail sentiment super high right now. I think it's 77% short. So this indicates that, or it's 76% short, same thing, which indicates that 76% of retail traders are currently selling right now. So you typically want to do the opposite and buy. Looking over here at the fundamentals, they're currently up 100 points. So it's pretty bullish right now as of now specifically, but doesn't necessarily mean this is going to hold. I'll get news over here at 4 o'clock, 5:30. So I'll mark that up as well. So we have news, or we had news at news over here at 4 o'clock and 5:30. I believe that's about it. So we'll go and mark that up first. Four o'clock and 5:30. 5:30 is right there. And 4 o'clock is right there. Again, 5:30 is right there. 4 o'clock is right there. We have more news at 7:30, and that's about it. So we got more news coming up over here at 7:30, and that is pretty much it. All right, so that's pretty much it. Let's go over here to the clean chart. Looking at the clean chart over here, I want to color this a different tab. We'll color the green chart green. And we'll color this red. Just so I know which tab's which. All right, so for the clean chart over here, I'll go up to the 4-hour time frame, see if there's any structure here that we should draw up. So it's currently at a higher high right now. Go down to the 1 hour. All right, so there's not really any support here. It's just resistance. So going back down to the 1 minute, this is the 1 hour resistance level, which is normal. And we have the 4 hour is super far down, so that doesn't really matter. We'll just keep an eye out on this, and I'll draw other levels around here. So this is the 1 hour resistance level. All right, guys, market is going to open up shortly in about 30 seconds. We'll see where price ends up going. Yeah, here's our clean chart. Let's see what happens when market opens here in a few. So good morning, everybody. Today is Wednesday, November 29th. It is 6:29 right now. Market's gonna open in about 10 seconds. Let's see who's here so far. Morning, Vimal. Morning, Craig. Morning, Valentine. Morning, Andreas. Morning, Layla. Morning, Sisuk. Morning, Maria, Kenny, Daniel, Kevin, everybody. All right, guys, market is now open. Let's see where this ends up going. I'll mark up opening price right here on this candle, of course. So there goes opening price. As you can see, price is kind of whipsawing back and forth. It has a huge wick on this candle, so you might want to be a little careful with any entries right now specifically. Just wait until price kind of, smoothing out a bit. All right, so we got opening price right here. We got price climbing right back up. It's going back up to the resistance right there. We got liquidity down below right here that got hit pretty much pre-market. I don't know if anybody was able to catch that, but I did mark it up for you guys right there. Lower level right there got hit, went straight to TP, and then it swung right back up. So there goes the first level of liquidity right there already hit. We'll see if price, makes its return back down, or if it continues to climb to the upside. If it climbs to the upside, you want to be careful around this area. Obviously, this is the 1 hour resistance. Price can easily bounce off it and come right down. That's like one scenario. The other scenario is price may continue to climb up and retest the higher area, or even break past it, right? So just be careful for this area here. You can see how price is rejecting directly off the resistance level. It's kind of expected. That's the first scenario that I marked up for you guys there. That's what you want to be careful for. And yeah, I guess we'll see what happens here as price continues to, obviously move along. We have a pending buy signal right here. If you guys remember what I mentioned yesterday, typically buy signal followed by a green candle could be an indicator of continuation in that direction. So we'll continue to look from here. And we'll see if price continues to climb up higher or if it has trouble climbing up higher because of the resistance. You can see right here where price rejected off directly as well, news price. So it's a tricky area right here because this is the 1 hour resistance, as you can see from the clean chart. And you can see prices rejecting directly off the news price right there from this morning. This was the I think it was like the 5:30 news. Just misidentified. Let me see. No, it's right. Yeah, it's rejecting directly off the 5:30 news price right there. No buy signal. Price is still climbing up. ATR is currently 12 right now, so it's still a little slow. But it can easily pick back up. So we'll see, what happens here if the volatility does pick up. If it doesn't, it's fine. But we will continue to watch here and see what happens next. So no buy signal yet. Hey, Jasmine, how's it going? Let's see. Craig said he's waiting for the 1 minute pivots to line up with the 15-minute pivots. Valentine got the lower level liquidity. Nice. Yeah, the pivots will probably shift. So I'm looking for the same thing, Craig. There's no higher highs or lower lows we can really look at for any high-low scalps until that happens as well. It looks like the trend might be shifting to the upside, but it hasn't confirmed yet. So until it confirms, there's nothing for us to take here, really. Yeah, it's just a waiting game until we confirm that, but it looks like it might be shifting to a bullish trend. As you can see, the pivots here are starting to shift. So you're lining up with the 15-minute pivots, which, yeah, it's already bullish. So, all right, it's just a matter of time until it starts to swing back up. All right, so no confirmation yet, but it is getting there. So just gotta wait it through. You got this buy signal here that's pending. The buy signal did close. So again, as you guys know, if you see another buy signal close out here, or a buy, another green candle, it might continue to the upside. It's like the initiation. It's like a confirmation of the trend. Actually, the buy signal didn't close. Wait, that's weird. Okay, so the buy signal did close. It looks like TradingView is kind of laggy. If you guys have seen, this over here closed with the buy signal and it stayed, and then this one over here didn't change until like a few seconds later. The reason why I know it's lagging is because when I turn my indicators on and off, they kind of lag a little bit. So like, for example, if I turn off the session, then I turn them back on. See how it takes a while for it to load? It's still loading right now, and then it comes back up. So TradingView is actually lagging right now. If you guys are wondering. This here closes green. This may continue to climb up higher, but again, it's kind of hard to tell. You have to wait for it to actually close and confirm. It's not looking like it. Oh, so no green candle right there. So again, you probably just want to wait a little bit for this here to continue. Hey, Brock, how's it going? Craig said, ideally, I'd like a deep retracement on the 1 minute to trick traders into selling. Yeah, I agree with that too, Craig. I'd like that to come back down. Or even if it comes back down, if it comes back down to opening price down here, that'd be a pretty solid, retracement. Come back down kind of heavy. Fake out right there and then come right back up. I think that would be, but then in that situation, the pivots over here will just shift back, right? Because it hasn't pushed high enough. But you can see how price is having trouble getting past the news price right here, this pink line. It's kind of tricky. It's a tricky area because again, this is news price right here, and then this is also the 1 hour resistance. So price may just shift back down, or it might just start going sideways here. I mean, we'll see. If it comes back down, then that's fine. You know, it's fine. It might just create a huge range, which is kind of like what it looks like it's going to happen here. But this will be a confirmation of rejection off the 1 hour resistance, of course. We'll see. We'll see if it creates a big range, because that's kind of what I see happening here. It might just create a big range from this point. Yeah, so we got 20 seconds left on this candle right here. Kind of a big red candle. And here we go as it comes back down. Price rejected directly off the opening price. So it looks like it's creating a range. Create a range directly, rejecting off the news price right here, came back down, rejected directly off the opening price. So this looks like this is the range that it's probably going to be in for a while, which is not ideal. It's not what I wanted. It's not what I'm looking for, but this is how the market has been for the past couple of months. If you guys have seen, it's been in a range pretty much every day. I don't think we've had a day where price has not been in a range. Eventually it breaks out of the range, but it's the same pattern over and over and over again. It's just back into the range, right? So we'll see. I mean, this price might continue bouncing back and forth, but I mean, who knows? It's definitely a little bit of a tricky area here. This price bounced directly off the opening price. All right. Nice. So Craig caught a buy right here when it bounced off the opening price, and now he's done for the day. So solid work right there, Craig. Yeah, it's the same pattern, guys. So you can see right here, I mean, if you wanted me to draw another zone right here where the higher highs at, like a zone within the zone, this is where the actual range is at. So if we took off the 1 hour resistance level, you guys can see this is the range that price is probably going to be stuck in for a while. But it's all good. We'll continue watching here. If this candle closes red, I think price will probably come back down to opening price. This will probably come back down to opening price, and this will probably fit criteria as a V1 continuation. But it's tricky. I mean, just looking at these candles here, it's kind of tricky how price is moving. I don't even know if this is going to close red. It's kind of tricky how it was closing right there. So I couldn't even tell if it was going to come back down or if it was going to continue climbing back up. So these, I mean, it looks like price is just going to range around this area. If anything, price might come back up, retest the opening price here, and then probably come right back down to opening, or come up and retest the 1 hour resistance, and then come right back down to opening price down below here. Yeah, Andreas said blocky candles there. I agree. Pretty blocky. Because it was hard to tell if this candle here was going to close red or if it was going to close green, because it was kind of bouncing back and forth. And then at the last second, it kind of came up, came back down, and then closed red. It's also right at a lot of these red flag areas right here. So, I mean, there's news price, there is the New York high, there is the London high, Asia high. There's 3 different sessions right here. So you can see that this area is actually, it's an area of manipulation, because you can see how this becomes the high point for the past 3 sessions. So you can see over here on the right side, you can't really see, well, you can see the lines, but you can see what it's actually labeled as. It's the London high, New York high, and Asia high. So if this is the case, I think price might bounce off here and continue climbing up, because it looks like this is an area of manipulation. Obviously, price comes down, fakes out, comes back up, right? Fakes out right here, comes back up, fakes out down here, comes right back up. That's like one thing to look out for too. If you see a lot of sessions that are just kind of bunched up in one area, they're all like in this one area right here. There's 3 of them. Well, I mean, there's only 3 sessions. There's like London session, New York session, Asia session, right? They're all the highs are left right here. So I would probably be careful trading around this area at all. Looks like there's just fake outs in both directions. Price might be coming back down, it might be going back up, but you can see this is it's the actual middle ground. So if you look over here on the clean chart, we have the 2 ranges over here. And let me just show you guys real quick, because it's kind of interesting how it looks right here. So if I took this off, turn on the sessions real quick, it's a little laggy. Trading is super laggy today. You can see how long it takes for my indicator to turn on. It shouldn't take that long. Should be able to turn on right away. And it's still turning on. Let me just refresh my page. Okay, there we go. So you can see over here, if I delete the 1 hour resistance zone, the sessions right here are actually the middle. It's the middle area of the range. So price will come up, reject off it, come right here, get manipulated a little bit, come back down, come back up, get manipulated around this area, and it just keeps bouncing back and forth. But the sessions are right down the middle. There's actually a red session that's in between here as well. You just can't see it because it's overlapped with the New York high. But that area right there is pretty much, it's a huge area of manipulation, of course. And there we go, as price comes back down like we anticipated. So price kind of swung up right here, but then came right back down. So I mentioned over here, I said, if we get a red candle right here, price is probably going to come back down, right? But you guys can see the fake out. So we had a red sell signal right here, red candle following it. And if you took that for a 1030, like what we talked about yesterday, that would have been a full TP right there, right? So I guess we'll continue to follow this and see where this ends up going. It's just a little tricky where price is, obviously going right here. This technically would have been the breakout entry, breakout V3 that I was talking about yesterday. It's still running right now. I mean, I wouldn't hop into it, but it's kind of too late. It is running right there. So unfortunately, I didn't take it. I should have taken it, but I was waiting for the candle to close and it didn't close as I was hoping it for. Because usually when it closes red, it's like pretty obvious. And there goes a breakout V3. I'm so fucking dumb. I should have taken it. Yeah, I should have taken it. But this over here was pretty much what I was looking for. So red sell signal, red candle following it. But this candle right here was tricky. That's why I didn't take it, because when you're watching it, it was like going back and forth and it looked like it might close green. So I didn't even bother taking it. But we could follow any following setup like this. But this would be the breakout V3 that I was typically looking for. Yeah, I mean, it's all good. It came up, played through. But it's just a tricky area. Like Andrea said earlier, it's too blocky. Yeah, Camel said he didn't take it because the candle was green with the red bar. Yeah, it was an invalid candle. For right now, as I test it, I'm not really testing it with the valid momentum. I'm just testing it as momentum and then the follow-up. So if we need to change that, obviously, moving forward, then it's something that I would change. It's something that I look at too, Camo. So like, for example, the first entry, I would be okay with this here being invalid, but everything after this, so like the continuations, I wouldn't take it like this, only for the breakout. Because the breakout's like the first move. And you can see the breakout happen here perfectly. But after this, it's no longer a breakout. It's considered just a continuation of the direction. So yeah, I wouldn't have followed it like that. Also, there was a breakout V2 right here. So there's 2 entries that came up, guys. The breakout V3 that I would have followed would have happened right here. The breakout V2 would have happened right here. We had a sell signal, 2 red candles following it. And this right here would have been the breakout V2. I didn't even notice that. I should have taken it at that point right there. But yeah, 2 entries right there, back to back. So the breakout V2 and the breakout V3 both hit full TP. The breakout V1 looks like it happened. Let's see. The breakout V1 actually would have happened right there too at the breakout V2 point, because the green buy signal right here came up, but there was no following green candles. There was a red signal that came up right here, and a strong red candle actually happened at these 2 right here. There was 2 red candles, or this one right here. There's a red candle with no bottom wick, so it's a strong red candle. And that right there would have been the original breakout. So all the three breakouts came out around the same area. Yeah, they came out exactly at the same area. We had the breakout B3 that happened right here, breakout B1, breakout B2 on the same candle right here. So it pretty much lined up together. Maddie said ATR is at 15. Perfect. Okay. Is there an entry running right now, Maddie? Oh, I'm on the wrong chart. Let me go back real quick. Oh, it's too late. It's already running. Yeah, so there's a momentum pullback scalp that's currently running right here, it looks like. Yeah, thanks, Maddie, for the heads up. So there is a momentum pullback scalp here. Let me see if I can maybe get into this for late entry, put a pending order there. This price comes back down. Let me just review it real quick. We got a sell signal here. Price came down. ATR is currently at 15. Price pulled down right here, retraced at this point. Entry would have happened right here. And I'm kind of late, but let me see if I can maybe put in a pending sell stop there. The candles are super blocky though, so as you guys can see, it's a very blocky movement right here. Let me see if I can maybe get in a pending sell at that point. I don't like this buy signal right here though. So let's see. And this thing's moving too fast. I'm trying to calculate the numbers in my head. I have to just do a manual order. All right, let's see if I can get into this right here. Too fast. I gotta get it manually. All right, so I'm in it right here, guys, letting it come down a little bit. Candles are super blocky, but it's looking nice. Full TP right there. I gotta get out. All right, so I got out manually. I was gonna hold on to it because it did hit CP right there. So I got in really quickly, guys. I got in, and as soon as it hit CP right here, I just pulled out manually. The candles are just moving a little too blocky. I got hit with a lot of slippage. Only locked 960 off that trade. Supposed to lock in 2,000. So two factors here that kind of screwed up my trade: spread, entry point, and these candles right here. As you can see, they're very blocky. I didn't want to get caught in the trade because you can see how they're moving right here. They're not very smooth. They're not like a smooth push up, or they're not a smooth push down, right? It's kind of like the candle will freeze for a few seconds, and then this candle will just end up here, or just end up down here. I don't want to take the risk. Also, I entered a little late. When Maddie mentioned it, I tried to put a sell stop right here to catch as it came back down, but it was just moving too fast. So what happened is when price was just sitting around this area right here, I just manually entered for a sell. And then when it came down to TP right there, I just closed it out manually. I'm glad because I would have been in some drawdown right here now. So I'll take a screenshot of this. It was a very quick entry. I wasn't able to put a pending order. I just ended up entering manually. So when I entered manually, I got caught in the spread. Spread is at 170 right now on FTMO. So got caught at the spread. And then also there was some slippage. When I closed it out, price kind of spiked up. I was supposed to be at 2,000 profit, but I only locked in at 960. So, I mean, it's all good. It's profit. Profit's profit. I can't really complain about making profit on this trade, especially when it was such a quick entry and a risky entry as well. So this is the first momentum pullback scalp that we've had in a long time because we haven't had a fast enough ATR. The ATR is currently at 15 right now, so it's decent. It's not great, but it is decent. It's at the level that we need it to be at. And this right here would have been the momentum pullback scalp. If you guys caught it, solid work. If you guys didn't, we'll wait for the next one. So Sisu caught it, Randy caught it, Maddie caught it, I got it, and there you go. If you held on to it longer, it would have came back down to full TP right here. But again, I'm not going to take that risk, especially with these blocky movements in the candle. So again, right there, another confirmation if you guys are holding it or were holding it, now it for sure would have hit your TP. But I'm not going to take those risks today, especially with the blocky price movements. But anyways, let me just add this to the chart real quick. This is the momentum. We haven't had this entry in a long time because the momentum has been, or the volatility has been super slow. Momentum pullback scalp. That was a pretty solid, sorry guys, pretty solid entry right there. Yeah, Andrea said he caught it too. Crazy slippage. Camo said he made a little intros bad. It's all good at Camo. Same with me. I typically like to put a pending order, but I couldn't put a pending order there because it was moving too fast. So I had to just get in and get out quickly. It's fine. More entries will come up. It looks like the volatility is supposed to be pretty decent today from like what it's looking like currently. So we'll see. Hopefully it does stay up. And if it does stay up, there's going to be more entries that come up. So this momentum signal is now done. We have to look for the retracement, and then we'll look for the continuation right after. Let's take a screenshot of my profits real quick on my copier. I got to figure out what's up with my funded engineer. For whatever reason, it's not copying any of my trades. And it's really annoying because it's been doing that for a couple of weeks or a couple of days now. Basically a week at this point. I don't know if they changed their lot sizing. If anybody here uses funded engineer, can you let me know if they've changed the lot sizing? Because I think that might be the case. It's probably not the same lot sizing as it was before. I'll have to check my copier and see what they say, because it usually gives me an error message. Because I typically use a 10 lot and a 20 lot for the 100K and a 200K, but for whatever reason, it's not executing, and it's super annoying. All right, so we're done with this here. I'm gonna take this off. Here are my profits for that trade that we just took here. So this is a trade that we just took. This is the momentum pullback scalp. You can see it went straight to TP. For my first account here, my FTMO locked in 630. My second FTMO locked in 960. My third FTMO locked in 1,260. My personal account locked in 225. My TFF locked in 364. My second personal and my second personal, and then my second TFF. So I got two TFFs and a personal account here. Two TFFs locked in 364, and then my personal locked in at 364 as well. I'm assuming that this personal account, well, it's a hedge account. I'm assuming they're using the same data as TFF because it has the same exact profit, which is kind of weird. So I'm assuming that's the case there. And I'm hoping I don't get caught with having those accounts on my copier, but we'll see. There's a V1 variation right here that Felix identified. Double body rejection right there. Pending buy signal shot straight up and hit his full TP. Right there. Nice work, Felix. Yeah, you guys are doing pretty good. So it looks like even I didn't even call that trade right there. Felix identified it, the V1 variation. Felix and Maria, they both hit that there. Double body rejection, pending buy signal, shot right back up. This would be a good V1 for a buy because everything is so bullish, right? The retail sentiment is currently 74% short, starting to die down a little bit, but it's still pretty decent. Looking over here at the fundamentals are currently, they're up 82 points there, so they're in bullish neutral. And looking over here at the technicals, I mean, it's pretty much bullish all around. So bullish on the higher time frames, bullish on the lower time frames. So that V1 variation right there, I personally wouldn't have taken it because of the red flags, but you guys took it and it's fine. It played out perfect. There's just a lot of red flags right here with the sessions and the news price, but it's all good. I'm glad that it hit for you guys there. Again, price is back here at opening price as we discussed. That same pattern right there, Camo. I'm not sure if you saw it. There's a buy signal. The continuation just hit. So the breakout continuation there just hit. Buy signal, green candle following it. Straight to TP right there. Nice. Camo caught it. So nice work right there, guys. Yeah, there's a lot of entries here. So there's a lot of opportunities. You guys can see when the volatility is high, there's a lot of opportunities to hop into trade. So I'm glad that the volatility is back up. This is how the market should be moving every day, right? It should be moving directional. Or even right here, it's in a range, but we're still able to make a lot of profit because price is going in that direction. So nice work, guys, on catching the trades here with the momentum continuation, V1 variation, breakout 1, 2, and 3. Momentum pullback scalp. We had about 6 entries come up already so far. So you guys, there's a lot of opportunities there. So it's good that you guys understand the strategies and you guys are taking these entries here. So Barack here took all the entries, total profit of 14,490. Nice work, Barack. and his other account total profit of 880 for the day. Great work right there. Oh, this is Kenny, sorry. Kenny over here has the same picture as Barack, so I thought it was the same person. Kenny locked in 880 for the day, all wins. Barack locked in 14,490, all wins as well. We have Craig here, total profit of 760. Nice winner there. I think Craig caught that off the opening price. His second account locked in 710. Great work, Craig. We've got Valentine here, total profit of 760. Nice work, Valentine. And I think we have Andreas over here as well. Andreas with a total profit of 730 for the day. Nice work, Andreas. Yeah, you guys are killing it. Great work, guys. And then we got Narith over here, total profit of, or Casey, not sure who's on this account, but oh, this is Cameron. Sorry, go on, Cam. It's Cameron over here, total profit of 2,310 for the day. Nice work, Cameron. All wins. All right, guys, great work so far. Great profits. You guys are doing pretty good for Wednesday. I mean, you guys are doing solid. So we'll continue looking for some more entries here. Price is currently in the 1 hour resistance level, kind of a tricky area right here. We only had one official trade, so only one trade's in account on my spreadsheet for today. I only caught one of them, and we'll continue looking for any other entries here. Let's see, Henry said, please call out these setups. I can't call out the setups, Henry. I didn't even see them myself. So you have to be up to date with the strategies. If I saw them, I would have called them, but I didn't even see them myself. You can see everybody's profits here. So obviously everybody here is doing the work and understanding strategies, but I can't call them if I can't see them myself, right? So I can't help you with that, Henry. You got to go and do the work. Go and watch the videos, understand the strategies. Yeah, Maddie said, you know, got to study the strategies yourself. Yeah, I know. It's all good. I mean, I wish I could have called them too, Henry, because I would have taken them myself too. Like I wish I took any of those trades. The V1 here was perfect. Well, not perfect because it was right at the red flags. But this strategy, this entry right here, I wish I would have caught this one because this is the one that I was actually looking for. So, I mean, it's all good, Henry. We both missed them. So I know we're both getting that FOMO right now. I missed out on this one right here, and I missed out on this one, which were entries that I personally would have taken. The breakout, it's fine. I missed that myself, and that was in a risky area, so I didn't want to take that either way. But the momentum pullback scalp was solid, and we'll continue looking for more entries here. Yeah, Henry said FOMO for sure. Let me chill out. Yeah, no, it's all good, Henry. I know it's like your first week back, so it's like you're seeing all these entries and you're seeing everybody's profits and you want to be part of it too, right? So it's all good. I mean, you know, over time, you're going to start to remember these strategies and see how they're applied because we're doing the same thing every day, Henry. So, you know, today's like what's your second day or third day back here. As you continue to hang around, you're going to see these entries come up. It's going to be more and more obvious. So it's all good. And we haven't had a day like this in a long time. So, you know, I think we're all kind of rusty. Usually the market's just going back and forth and we don't have any entries here. But today there's just so many entries that keep coming up back to back. There's 3 breakouts. There's a momentum pullback scalp, which was an official entry that we typically take. We haven't been able to take that for a while because of the volatility. Then there was a V1 variation right here. A lot of red flags, but it played out. And then the breakout continuation. So there's basically 3 strategies that we're kind of looking at here. We're looking at the breakout continuation. We're looking at the momentum pullback scalp. And then we're also looking at the high-low scalp as well. So there might be a high-low scalp actually setting up right here, guys. I know it's at news price, but there's a high-low scalp that is possibly setting up right here. If the candle breaks and closes past the structure. If it doesn't close above it, then this is going to be invalidated and you have to wait for the next one. However, there could be a setup for a high-low scalp V2. Yeah. So there's one that's setting up right here, actually. The ATR kind of died down a little bit, guys. So might want to be careful with going for the full move. There's a high-low scalp V2 that is setting up right here, though. So I'm going to set up. It hasn't set up yet. The candle needs to break and close below it. So I'll set up the 100 points right there. 200 points right there, just in case you guys want to pull out early, right? You guys don't have to pull out early, but because of the low volatility, it's typically, you know, you typically want to go for the smaller target. I mean, you don't have to, but the volatility is starting to slow down. Earlier it was pretty nice. It was at 15 ATR. It's down to 13 now, or 14. So it's going between 13 and 14 right now. All right. So there is nothing here at the moment. This candle needs to break and close below this level right here. So if you guys are looking to take it, we had this candle right here break and close past this high. So price broke past it. We're looking for the fake out pullback right here. If this red candle closes below, you're going to look for it to swing back up and then possibly provide entry right there for a where it looks like it might have filled already. I'm probably going to wait for it to kind of pull back a little bit before taking this entry. See where it's at. It's like right there. If you guys want to enter right now, I mean, you guys can. It's currently in the 1 hour resistance level though, so it's kind of tricky. But that is the breakout V2, or sorry, the high-low scalp V2 that is currently running right now. If anything, I'll probably go in for like a quick, like I'm probably going for 100 pips because it's kind of in a tricky area right here where it's currently at. But I would like it to kind of pull back a little bit so that I can put my pending order there. So when it comes back up, it just automatically fills for decent price entry and then goes back up. But this here would be the high-low scalp V2. Typically, we go for 30-30, but the volatility is kind of low right now. It's not as high as it normally is. So if you guys want to take this entry right here, this is where the entry would, where your entry would happen at 35,567. And then it's just a tricky area right here. It's okay. So this is a pullback that I was looking for. And now I'm basically just going to wait for it to come up. I'll put my buy stop right there to catch it as it swings back up. And then I'm probably going to go for maybe like 100 pips or so because it's just a little too, the volatility is not high enough. So I'm not expecting it to go through the full, well, I am expecting it to hit eventually, but not right away. It'll probably kind of like go back and forth for a little bit, come back down, and then eventually might go up and hit its TP. But I don't think it's going to be the typical, straight to the TP type move. So, all right, I got my buy stop right there, pending, not yet filled. See if it fills over here. Hasn't filled yet. I don't know why it hasn't filled yet. Oh, because my price is a little off. All right, so my entry hasn't filled yet, guys. There, it's filled now. So I'm now in the position. It's pushing up. Let's see where it is. Let me follow it over here. Make sure this is cool. So now I'm just watching it. I'm probably gonna get out right here at the 10 level, guys. But I'll continue to follow and see where it goes. It's just not really moving very much right now. You can see prices going back and forth. It's kind of just set right there. I set it for a smaller TP though, just to be safe because of this area here. It's just, you guys can see how these candles are moving. Not very smooth. All right, so I'm following it right here. Yeah, Maddie said pivots look nice, but the candles are blocky. Yeah, I think that's the worst part. I think the blocky movement is kind of what's throwing me off because usually, it's a smooth move up or a smooth move down, and it kind of just continues in that direction. But right now, it's just blocky. Price will kind of freeze for a couple of seconds, and then you just don't know where it ends up going. You'll blink, and then price is like in a different area. Let's see. Yeah, I agree with Andreas. Andreas said, yeah, I'll be more safe if it pulls back. Alan's asking how many candles past news do we wait? You just wait for the reaction, Alan. So typically like 5 candles is like the rule of thumb, but you kind of want to just wait for some reaction. Fuck, the candles here are so blocky. This is probably gonna hit my stop loss. It's all good. So we'll continue to watch it here. Yeah, these candles are super blocky. I think I might get out early, actually, guys. So when price pulls back up, I might just pull out because these candles are just too blocky. They're not moving like how there's no smooth movement. Like I mentioned earlier, you like take a blink of your eye and then you're like in profit and then you're super negative. And I just don't like the way it's moving. So let me see if I can maybe get out here a little earlier. See its price climbs back up right there. Craig said he was too close to entering a buy, but he jumped Yeah, it's super blocky right now, the way price is moving. I don't know if there's any news right now. Let me check the calendar real quick. The news is coming up at 7:30, so we're not there yet. There's news at 5:30, that's about it. And other than that, I mean, price is just going back and forth. It's just very blocky, as you guys can see. There's not really too much to work with here. It's just going back and forth. Um, yeah, so you see right there, same thing happened. The candle closed and then it kind of just blocked back and forth. So it's a like super tricky area right here. Still in it though. If it hits my stop, it's like there's nothing I can do about it. I should have pulled out when price came back up right here, but I was just too slow. I did adjust my TP to just get me out at like around this area right here. But it is bouncing. So you guys can kind of see where price is bouncing from. It's bouncing directly off the sessions. So if you guys remembered from earlier this morning, I said this is an area of like high manipulation. And that's exactly what's happening here. Price comes down, deflects directly off the sessions, and then it comes right back up. And then again, right here, same thing again. But the candles here are super, super blocky, as you guys can see. It like every second the candle, like right now it's frozen, right? It's frozen, and then it comes back and it just pops up, like it'll all of a sudden it'll be like way up here, or it'll freeze up and then all of a sudden it'll be down here. This is not the type of, I mean, obviously it's not for the faint of heart, and it's not the type of market that you really want to trade in because of, you know, these conditions, of course. So I'm still in it, but I'm probably going to get knocked out. Still in it. I'm hoping this thing swings all the way back up. Nah, it stopped me out. All right, fuck it. There's my first loss for November. I've been on a winning streak for over a month now. It was bound to happen. Today was just, I mean, well, this movement here, not just today, but in general, this movement here, if you guys saw the ways that these candles were moving, it just wasn't a smooth move. So it's all good. I'll eat that loss. My first loss for November. I was hoping to go this whole month without losing, but I mean, it is what it is. I got to deal with it. So, all right, take this loss here. And I might be a little more careful with today's session because of these candle movements. Super blocky. I had a couple opportunities here to pull out for break even, but I didn't. I just didn't have opportunity because it just kept bouncing back and forth. And I got kind of greedy. So I'll just say that I got kind of greedy. I moved my stop loss and profit right here. And I was hoping it'd push up a little bit just to like give me some profit. But I was at break even. I was probably like at 100 in profit. I could have pulled out, but I didn't. And it's all good. I'll take that loss. First loss for the month and the first loss since, I mean, it's been a while. So, all right, let me put this over here real quick. I'll put up my loss as well. Stop loss hit on the high-low scalp V2. There's only 300 pips, so it's not very much. I don't remember the last time I put up the loss. All right, so let me update the spreadsheet real quick. Let's just take a little breather because the candles here are moving very choppy. So it's not really a good time to just hop back in. If you hop back in, that's kind of like revenge trading, right? So at this point right here, if you guys take the loss, it's probably best to just sit back for a little bit, reflect on the trade, and not hop into something super quickly because at that point, you'll be revenge trading. So let me just update my spreadsheet over here. And it's all good. I mean, there goes my streak. I was really hoping to go through this month without having anything, but all good things do have to come to an end at some point. So today is the 29th, 11. Wait, I had a trade yesterday too, right? I don't think I'm counting the one from yesterday though. Yeah, I'm not counting the one from yesterday. Even though I won like 300 pips yesterday, I'm not going to count that. Today is the 29th. Entry happened at, we'll just say 7 o'clock, the first one. So for the first one, 7 o'clock, it was for a sell. It was a win, 100 pips. This was for a momentum pullback scalp. All right, solid. And then the one after it was a loss. Same thing, 29, 23. Entry came up. I'm just going to round it up to like 705. It was also for it was for a buy actually. That was a loss. And I will copy this over here as well. Okay, link. All right, so you guys can see here, this is my spreadsheet. I record all of my official trades here. The official trades are the ones that I take myself. Even if we win other trades, like today, there was like 5 entries, they all hit TP. I didn't count any of those trades. The only ones that count are the ones I take. So you can see I had a winning streak from October 24th up until today, October 29th. This is where I took my first loss of November, and first loss in over a month. So it was bound to happen. You can't have 100% win rate forever, right? So you can see this is typically what happens with my trades here. I'll have like a really long win streak and then maybe like 1 or 2 losses for the month. So there goes my loss for the month. Hopefully that's my last loss, and we can continue to wrap up this month with straight wins. But other than that, we'll continue looking for any other entries here. There's nothing here at the moment, of course. The trend is starting to shift to the downside. So if that's the case, we might be able to look for some high-low scalps down here. But we're going to be a little careful with our entries here. So there's going to be a high-low scalp that might be setting up here. So if this candle breaks and closes below this point, this here could be a high-low scalp, an original high-low scalp. So price is bearish right here. If this candle breaks and closes below this point right here, this could be a high-low scalp entry. The candle can't be too big though. So this here, the continuation did hit though. So this one earlier, Daniel and Kanwa did identify that. And this right here would be a high-low scalp. It's kind of far, it's pushed down pretty far. So you might want to be a little careful with this here, but it is going to be set up as a high-low scalp. Let me see if I could, damn, the thing drops super heavy. I can't even get into it. It spiked down like directly. It didn't hit TP yet, but it did spike down super hard. Again, it's in some blocky movements right here. So obviously not really a good area to be looking at. Let me just screenshot this real quick. Yeah, you guys can see this is probably not a good time to be trading because it's so blocky, as you guys can see. It's not really smooth as it should be. I'll continue watching. If it comes back down, maybe I'll put a buy stop there and just catch it as it comes back down to recoup some of my loss from the last trade. But yeah, the movements here are just not very good because it's just super inconsistent with how it's going back and forth. So let's see, price is coming back down. Let me see if I can maybe put a sell stop there to catch it, because they never completed the trade yet. The trade's still technically running right now, but it never came down to hit the full TP down here. So let me see if I can maybe put a sell stop right here. So if it doesn't come down, I'll just cancel it. But if it comes down, it'll fill, and then I'll be able to go down further to the actual TP. See how far is it down? Yeah, Craig mentioned there's a V1. So there's some conflicting entries here. Let me go over here and take a look at the, I mean, it's still kind of mixed. The lower time frames are now, they're more of a bearish neutral. They're more on the bearish side. So the 10-minute is shifting down. 5-minute is shifting down as well. The 1 minute is obviously bearish. The higher time frames here are still bullish. Let's take a look at retail sentiment real quick. Retail sentiment is currently 75% short. News is coming up at 7:30. Fundamentals right now are currently at 34 points. So fundamentals are pretty much neutral. Retail sentiment is still bullish. There's no news coming up until 7:30. Shorter time frames over here are, they're trying to shift to a bearish trend, but they're not confirmed yet. Higher time frames over here are still bullish, but the 30-minute is starting to shift to the downside. And that's about it. So there, I wouldn't take the V1 variation right now, guys. If you guys are looking to take the V1, I know the V1 did come up right here, double body, but the bullish bias isn't very strong. So you need to have a strong bullish bias in order for you to take that entry there. And it's kind of, it doesn't meet criteria right now, of course. So I would probably, I'd probably hold off on that specific entry right now. So price never came down to fill. I put my pending order there. It hasn't came down yet. I'll continue watching it. If anything, I'll just cancel it if it doesn't come back down. But I do have a pending sell stop right here, guys, because I'm going to see if it does come back down. I'm not taking it as a high-low scalp V2. I'm just taking it as a regular V1. I mean, sorry, as a regular high-low scalp. Maddie mentioned that a pullback just hit right now too. Let me check. What's the ATR right now? I think the ATR is too low, Maddie, so we wouldn't be able to take the momentum pullback scalp. Or actually, I guess at the time of entry, it was still 15. So the volatility is high right now, but I just don't like the way that the candles are moving. The volatility is kind of going back and forth between 14 and 15. It's just not very smooth. So as you guys can see, there's movement, but if you look at the actual candle that's moving, it's not the type of movement that you would like. Like it's still blocky right here. If you like blink your eye, you'll see that the candle might end up down here. You blink your eye, candle might end up here. I do have my pending order right here. So if it does block down, which is kind of what I'm looking for and what I'm waiting for here, it'll just fill my order and go straight to the TP. So the entry right here is still pending. You can see it hasn't really moved very much. It is blocky. I do have my pending order right here. So there's just a pending sell stop. So if price does come back down and touch this area, it'll fill it and it'll come down to its TP. Otherwise, it looks like price is pretty much just going sideways at the moment. Yeah, Randy just said it's starting to look like it might range here. And that's exactly kind of what I'm seeing here too. There's not too much going on. So here on the clean chart, let me go and mark it from structure. I know we don't have any structure here. So we got structure. Here, I'll leave the structure up because I think this is better because you can kind of see the fake outs right here. So there's price structure right here. Price kind of faked out a little bit at this point, came back up, faked out right there, and now it's coming back down. So fake out, and obviously continuation back to the downside right here. So there we go. As price comes back down. Let's see where this is. It's a double fake out, it looks like right here. So as you can see, price faked out below, faked out above, and then it's basically creating a new range right here. See my entry over here. So my entry is now filled. It already hit TP, so I gotta pull out of that. Fuck me. This slippage sucks. All right, so man, it sucks. I was hoping it blocked me out and go straight to my TP, which it did. It did exactly what I wanted to happen. The only problem is that the slippage kind of screwed me over. I guess on this candle right here, it came down, it blocked down, and then it came back up. So it actually filled me like freaking like down here, and then it hit TP, so I had to pull out manually. Okay, so I only locked in 760 on that last trade, which is kind of annoying. I was hoping to get at least 2,000, which is the full TP for this move here if I was going for 100. It's all good. Today's just not the day for me. I'm not having very much luck with these high-low scalps. I'll give you guys an update for the trade. But yeah, basically it did what I was mentioning. So I said price was sitting up here. I said I was hoping price would block down and fill my entry and go straight to TP, right? And that's exactly what happened. The only problem here is that because these candles are moving so blocky, FTMO filled me up down here, and then it went straight down and hit TP, and I just manually closed out of it because you can't get greedy in a market like this. You know, I've been trying to remind you guys pretty much all session, don't get greedy. If it hits TP on trading view, close out. Even if you have to close out for less profit or a partial, it's better to close out because the trade's technically done, right? Criteria here has been met. Price broken close below this lower low. The entry would have happened right here. Price came down and hit TP. I mean, you don't need your stop loss this far out, but you know, we want that cushion. So obviously that's why I have it that far out. Came down, hit my TP. And due to the spread, slippage, whatever you want to call it, I got out with partial. So here, this is what I'll do here. I'll copy over my, let me just, and you guys will see the recoup of my losses right here. Not a lot, but did recoup at least some of it. This market just sucks today, fortunately. So I'll show you guys the first one with my initial losses, and then you'll see my other one with the recoup of losses. It wasn't really that much of a recovery, but because of the slippage, but I still recouped some of it. So here's my first loss right here. You guys can see how much I lost on this trade. So for this loss right here, 300 pips, unfortunately, it was a kind of bigger loss than I was expecting. So initially I had some profit over here from the first trade. I lost this trade right here. And then I was negative like 2,000, negative 4,000, negative 600, negative 2,000. And then I took this one right here that I mentioned. Unfortunately, I had to take it for a partial, but you know, it is what it is. I took this trade here. Let's give a little update. This is the original high-low scalp. Okay, so took this trade here, I won. Partial, I guess. This trade lost. This trade I won again. So you guys can see over here, this is my now current profits. So initially I was like negative 2,000. I'm now negative 1,000 because I made profit on that last trade. This one I was negative 4,000, negative 4,000. I'm now negative 3,000. It's just, it recouped some of the losses there. Not a lot, but some of it. Due to the slippage, I wasn't able to get as much profit as I would have wanted. And yeah, that's pretty much the entry I took there. If you guys took the high-low scalp V2, I mean, it's still currently running right now. For anyone who took it, the entry actually happened right here. I wouldn't take it though, because obviously like the same problem that we had earlier, there's also news coming up right here at 7:30. And it's just a little too tricky. I think what I would probably be looking for here is I'd be looking for the breakout continuations. That's what I'd be looking for. I'll look for some breakout continuations, maybe some momentum pullback scalps if there's enough volatility in the market. Right now it's currently 14, so it's a little slow. We need it to be about 15 for us to start looking for any actual entries there, but I did recoup some of my losses, thankfully. And we'll continue to see if there's anything else here. Let's see. William said, hey, Sean, do you sometimes think about looking at NAS? No, never. There's no point looking at NAS. I'm good at US30. I think that's a problem with a lot of people sometimes, is that they try to look for that holy grail, right? They want to look at something just because they suck at something. They want to look at something else. But I think that's a problem with you too, William. So, you know, we've already had this conversation before. The problem is that you can't stick to one thing. I feel like every time you talk to me, you're doing something new. And that's why you don't get good at anything. So I think if you want to trade NASDAQ, which is completely fine, there's nothing wrong with NASDAQ, trade NASDAQ, right? We trade US30. We've been trading US30 for years. Why would we change from US30 to NASDAQ when we've been doing the same thing and we've been consistently profitable for years now, right? Like my results over here are all from US30. Like if you were doing this good trading US30, William, would you think to even look at NAS, right? So you could just ask yourself the same question that you're asking me. There's no reason to do that. But you know, I'm just being like straight up with you, William, because like the thing with you is that and not just you, but in general with a lot of people, is that you need to focus on like one thing. Like for you, you jump from strategy to strategy, you jump from asset to asset, and then you just end up not doing good at anything, right? So if you're good at Forex, or if you like Forex, stick to Forex. If you're good at NASDAQ, do NASDAQ. If you want to do US30, do US30. But you know, like you mentioned, you find it to have more clean and less blocky movements. The thing is that all assets are going to have days like that. And I think that's another thing that you have to understand, that like, you know, there's going to be days like this where the asset's not moving like how you want it to. And you should probably just not trade or take less trades. The key thing isn't like moving from something to something else, but the key thing is to stick to one thing, get really good at it, and understand when to trade and when not to trade. But yeah, no, I'm glad that you're almost passing your challenge now. And I hope that, like, you know, whatever you did to get to that point, you continue to do that, right? Because just like, say, for example, you were trading US30 and you got close to passing it. And all of a sudden you're like, oh, it's moving blocky today, so I'm gonna go to NASDAQ. What happens? Blow your account. It's a cycle that everybody goes through. It's like the same cycle that everyone just gets stuck in. So no, I'm glad that you're almost close to passing your challenge, William. But you know, I recommend that you just stick to what you're doing. Stick to whatever you did to get to that point. We have a lot of like stories here. Like if you guys remember Steven, he was doing the breakout only for like 2 months. He passed his challenge, and then for whatever reason, he started to trade Asia session as soon as he passed his challenge, and then he blew his account like immediately right after. That was crazy. He was like, everyone was kind of rooting for Steven to you know, be consistent, because he was consistent. All he did was he took one trade a day, breakout every single day, had a winning streak for basically 2 months. And then as soon as he got his past challenge, he traded Asia, which he never does, and blew his account. So just keep that in mind, guys. You know, I'm not trying to chew anybody out. I want to be straight up with you guys, because I feel like a lot of people don't get the hard truth. I'm sure a lot of you guys have been in different groups, or you guys have been with like different mentors, and they keep telling you to change stuff up, right? They're like, oh, do this or do that, or trade this or trade that. Really, you should just focus on one thing. You know, for me, I'm good at US30, so I'm going to continue trading US30, and I'm probably not going to look at anything else. I haven't looked at Forex or gold or NASDAQ or S&P or any of that stuff in years. So yeah, I'm going to stick to US30. This is what I'm good at. And that's a key thing to keep in mind. Yeah, exactly. C6 said every asset has its own characteristic, and that's why you should focus on just one thing to follow with. All right, so we do have the buy signal right here that Rashida mentioned. I know I was looking for that buy signal too, Rashida. Looking for that buy signal and then looking for the continuation. The only thing is that we have news right here at 7:30, so you want to wait until like this news passes. This is probably like the worst time for this buy signal to come up. I actually don't want the buy signal to come up, because I don't want to take the breakout continuation. Let's see. Kenneth or Kenny said, I like to call the high-low V2 a higher high, lower low V2. I mean, that works. But the thing with that is that I don't really take it at the higher highs and lower lows, but the higher highs and lower lows are usually like the stronger points. So like for the original high-low scalps, I like to go from the high lows or from the lower lows and the higher highs as well. You know, if we avoided the trade earlier, Kenny, that probably would have been a good idea too. Like the trade that we lost over here, we took it off the lower high. If we probably waited for it to reach something else, like say the higher high here, probably would have been better. But then again, it's like, it's kind of tough for us to trade like that, because the higher highs and lower lows don't come up very often. Like this one over here, there's a lower low right here. Price kind of broke below it. Let's see if this one actually played through. No, this one would have flopped too, but this one happened on open, so I wouldn't have messed with it. Yeah, but for me personally, I do like taking the higher highs and the lower lows versus the high lows and the lower highs, because the higher highs and lower lows are always stronger. Anyways, there goes the news candle right there, guys. There's no reaction to the news yet. Let me check the news calendar. All right, so news calendar over here, it was just gas news at 7:30. Nothing too crazy. I mean, price will probably react to it slightly, but nothing out of the ordinary. It's just gas news that happens. It happens every month. It's nothing that's like nothing crazy, but it does affect the market in a way. So let me just update this real quick. I think this is the most trades we've taken in a while. We took 3 trades today. I typically stick to like 1 or 2 trades, but we took 3 trades today. I guess this is okay because it kind of recouped some of our loss from earlier. This was the high-low scalper sell, win 100, 1, high-low scalp. All right, so we got 2 wins, 1 loss today. We just need 1 more win to recoup the loss for the most part. I probably need 2 because I've been taking partials due to the spread and stuff. But we'll see if I can get 1 more here for say like a breakout continuation or something like that. It can possibly cover the loss for today. This today's market kind of reminds me of like the older market that we used to trade in, like say earlier this year. So if you guys remember from like earlier this year in January, we used to have a lot more entries. So if you look back at our spreadsheet, like our trades from like, so you'll see over here, like in January of last year, we took like 4 trades. On January 9th, we took like 5 trades. And they were big trades. It was like breakout V2, momentum scalp variation. There's a lot of entries here that came up. So this is typically how the market usually moves. It gives us opportunities for maybe like 2 or 3 entries, 2 or 3 official entries, and then maybe like 5 to like, 5 to 7 unofficial entries. So like about 10 entries a day we would have. But today's pretty decent. I mean, we have like this, the candles do move kind of funky, obviously with these blocky candles, but we're actually having some direction today. We're not really direction, but we're having movement back and forth. So if you look over here on the clean chart, this looks a lot better than it did yesterday, right? Because if you remember yesterday, price was moving pretty slow and there wasn't really too much going on. So yeah, it's just, I mean, we'll see if this continues. If not, then, hopefully it picks back up in January. But again, right here, price is back into this ranged area down here. But this was like this movement over here was actually pretty decent. It was a big range, but it was actually ranging enough where we can catch entries. This is kind of what's been happening for the past couple months, where price doesn't really range that far. It's now back into the old type of range that it's stuck in, this type of area here. The high-low scalp V2 is still running right now. So if anybody's in this position, it's running in profit. If you guys want to move your stop loss in profit, you can. But if you want to hold on to it, it's up to you, however you want to handle it. I'm kind of traumatized from the last high-low scalp V2, so I didn't want to take it. I did take it as a regular high-low scalp though, from the earlier entry, but not the V2. The V2 is good. It's just tricky. It's tricky when the market's kind of moving irregular. So you can see over here, we had the structure drawn from this point, and there's a lot of fake outs that were happening right here, right? This is structure. So price shouldn't be breaking and closing above and below these areas. It should either stay below it or stay above it. You can see here that it's now starting to respect it a lot more. But this area right here was, was a bit of a tricky point where price kind of just bounced back and forth from this area here. But this is pretty much the structure that we have now. Price is currently in this range, and I'm looking for any possible opportunities to maybe get in. But looking over here at retail sentiment is currently 74% short, so it's not really moving too much. It's kind of flattening out down this area. Nice. Jasmine said taking the current balance to see if she can recover her loss, and she hit her TP. Nice. So solid work right there. Yeah, so Jasmine took the balance right there. She was trading within the range, which is fine. I mean, technically, that's like another way to trade. Like when I draw a structure here, if you guys do want to trade off the structures, you guys can. It's just kind of tricky sometimes. Like you can't put your stop loss too close because, for example, here, if you were to take the balance, like what Jasmine took, whether she took the sell or the buy, it's tricky to put your stop loss like right at the tip of the zone because you can easily get stopped out. So you have to like give yourself some space. I know some people like to put it right there. I typically like putting it a little farther down. And then you just kind of ride it. Same with this over here. If you were to catch the bounce on this side, you would do the same thing. You wouldn't put your stop loss directly there because you get stopped out. Probably want to put it a little farther up, maybe up to opening price there, and then ride its way back down. If that would be the case, but again, it's a little bit of a tricky market here. So we might have a breakout continuation setting up here if this candle does close. So if we get a buy signal and then it's followed with a green candle, we might see a correction back to the upside. It might not be super strong, but it's probably enough to push up to what's already at opening price. It might push up even further to the sessions up here. All right, let's see. Ken said, yeah, I see what you see, bro. I'll be back on the Zoom soon. Just wanted to try and see and take trades in real time for myself due to psychology reasons, mostly FOMO for missing your trades in real time. Yeah, no, and I agree with you too, Kenny. That's a good thing. It's a good thing to see both sides of the coin, right? See things from my analysis, see things from my entries, and then also see things from your analysis and your entries. You haven't been trading for long enough, so you can't really act as quickly as I do or see the things as I do as quickly. So yeah, I know it's a little difficult when you're not able to look at the same things that I am because you're kind of doing things differently or doing things on your own. But no, that's a good thing. I'm glad you did that, Kenny, because I feel like everybody should kind of take the training wheels off for a while. There's no problem with having training wheels as long as you guys have your own analysis, right? Like you guys can come on my live session, listen to my analysis. You guys can even use my indicators or use my strategies. But once you're able to identify things for yourself, like for example, right here, Rashida's looking for a buy signal because she's looking for that breakout continuation move. And that's exactly what I'm looking for. Her analysis lines up with mine. So we're kind of looking at the same thing here, even though she's not doing what I'm doing, right? Same with everybody else. Like some people looked at V1 variations. I wasn't even looking at those, but they did hit TP for Randy earlier this morning. And there's just a lot of different things that you guys can look at. And I think it helps that you have me here to kind of confirm things or also tell you things like, for example, here, if there's we have a buy signal here. So if there's a green candle that follows, my anticipation is that price is going to continue climbing up, right? And if you want to take that for, a quick move to the upside, you can take that for a quick 100 pips. I think that'd be decent because it's going to be before it reaches the sessions up here, which is probably going to be target price area. We have 21 seconds left on this candle right here. You can see the candle is pretty much frozen and there's not really much movement. It's blocky movement like we talked about earlier. And at this moment here, it does not look like it's going to close green. So we're not going to have that breakout continuation set up here at all. ATR is currently at 13. So you guys can see down below here, the volatility is not very high. So it throws a mix into your analysis because it doesn't really matter if you have like everything lined up. Like you can have your perfect strategy, your perfect rejection off whatever structure you're looking at. But if there's no volatility, the odds of your trade working out are probably not going to work out because what will probably happen is price will just go sideways. And then you might get lucky and it might go in your direction, or you might get unlucky and price might go complete opposite. Right. And I'm sure a lot of you guys have gotten caught in a situation like that. So I think the key thing here is to also look at volatility. If the volatility is too low, like right now, currently 12, you probably want to just sit out of the market. Right, closer to 15 would be better because you'd be able to hit your TP. But if the volatility is super low, you're kind of putting yourself in limbo. Because when price goes sideways like this, you guys already know what happens when price starts to consolidate, right? It's going to break out. It's either going to break out in your direction, you're going to feel really good about it, or it's going to go against you and you're going to be really upset because you could have avoided that trade. So the ATR here is just getting a lot slower and slower as we continue along with today's session. If we don't end up getting a trade today, or a trade from now until the end of the session, that's completely fine. But the key thing that you guys have to understand here is like there's a high risk involved with whatever entry you decide to take because of the low volatility. So other than that, let's see if there's anything else here that I'm missing. Yeah, Craig said I've tried different assets, Forex, gold, etc. I always seem to find I gravitate back to US30. My biggest payout has been with US30, never moving from this again. Yeah, exactly, Craig. And that's exactly the same reason why I focus mainly on US30 as well. It has the most volatility, and it pays out the best in my opinion. So, going back to NASDAQ is cool too. It does have a lot of volatility, but sometimes volatility is not a good thing, right? If it has too much volatility, then it becomes super risky because you can get caught in a lot of fake outs that way as well. I think US30 is just probably the main, it's the most consistent and it's the most stable out of all of the indices that people trade. Like NASDAQ is cool, but it's a tech stock. So like when the tech stocks are kind of going crazy, like that dog just playing. I don't know if you guys can hear them running in the background. But yeah, I personally, I don't like trading S&P. I know a lot of people like to trade S&P. S&P is worth less and it moves a lot slower. So I guess if you can't handle the fast movements of US30, then S&P would be the next step down. NASDAQ is kind of similar to gold. It's very tricky. Some days it'll be very volatile. Some days it'll be very flat. Yeah, exactly. Kenneth said NQ isn't as predictable. I agree. That's why I don't like trading it. A lot of people like trading NQ because it moves like gold. It's like kind of like you can catch breakouts on that asset a lot easier. But another thing that I don't like about NQ is the value of NQ. Because if you guys remember, we tried trading NASDAQ a while back. I don't think you were around, William, when you were trading NASDAQ. My strategies worked perfectly fine on NASDAQ, but the TP stop loss and value of each pip was like completely different. So I didn't like trading it. I think it like blew one of my accounts too, because I took like a full lot size and they were using like standard lots, and it blew one of my funded accounts on accident because I put the wrong lot size. So that's another thing too. If you guys want to switch between NASDAQ and US30, you have to like really understand what the lot size is worth, because it can really screw up your account if you end up taking the wrong lot size. Because a standard lot on there versus, say a mini lot or a micro lot on US30 it's huge. It's like way different. Let's see, Steve's asking, where do you check the ATR? ATR is a built-in indicator on TradingView. So if you go to your indicators over here, you just type in ATR, it'll come up. It's the first one right here, average true range. It's built into TradingView, so it's not a custom indicator. I have a custom ATR myself, so I have this right here, which is a trailing stop. I think this is something that you might like, Kenny. I don't know if you've noticed this from my other, live sessions, but this is something that that you can use if you want to just trail your stocks. I know you like, the risk reward is kind of big for you. So like, for example, if you wanted to take a buy entry right here, you can use the trailing stop and you can just trail your stop. So instead of just entering a buy there, you just enter a buy and then you kind of trail it. I'm not sure how long you've been around because I know you're kind of doing your own thing too. But the trailing stop here is pretty cool. It's based off the ATR and you can kind of just trail it as it moves along. But Steve, for the regular ATR, you just go to indicators, add your average true range. It'll probably come up down here at the bottom and it'll show you what the ATR is. Just leave default settings. The average true range will basically tell you what the average movement is within the previous 14 candles, which is the default. It's fine. You can change the settings if you want, but I think 14 is a good rule of thumb, especially if unless you're like swing trading, it'll make sense to like kind of make some changes. But for the most part, it shows you how the volatility is moving. So for example, if I want to see how much these candles are moving for the past 14 candles, I just go back 14 candles right here, right? 14 bars. So basically within this area right here, that's what the ATR is. It's currently 12 points, which is 120 pips. And it's just too slow. The rule of thumb is 15, and that's just from experience. We've traded this market for years and years on end. 15 ATR is generally going to be the sweet spot. Anything above it is good, but anything like past like 24 is like very too high volatility. Anything below 15 is kind of too low volatility. The market's still moving, but it's just the volatility is too low. Craig said too many jumps to S&P and NAS because of ICD. Yeah, it's kind of similar. It's yeah, I know. If you guys are in some groups, there's some groups that trade like for us, we mainly trade US30, and there's some other groups that like to bounce between S&P and NASDAQ. C6 said, don't they use Magic? Yeah, I know. Magic the Gathering. Kenneth said, I saw the new indicator. It's sweet. Haven't tried it yet. Yeah, the actually haven't uploaded the indicator yet, Kenneth. I'm still I keep going back between Kenneth and Kenny. I know Kenneth is Kenny, so I don't want to keep calling you Kenneth. But yeah, the indicator here, I'm still working on it. There's obviously some bugs. It's been a week since I put it together. And this was mainly to help people who want to use a trailing stop or whoever wants to hold on to the position longer. The thing with this too is, so for example, here, let me just take some of these indicators off. So the thing with this right here is you can technically turn these breakout V1s into a one-to-one type strategy. So for example, right here, there is these two right here that came up. And then you can move your stop loss up to this point right here. It goes up to like 52. I would typically cap it at like maybe double ATR. So the ATR right here was 15. So I'd probably cap it at 30. And if you're to do 30-30 right there, it would, fit perfectly. If you want to go a little further, I think the highest I'd probably go would be 50-50. I think 50-50 is a little too far, especially if volatility is too low. But you can see right there that it still works. So if you ever want to apply any specific strategy and you want to turn it into one-to-one, you can also use this indicator to just figure out where's the closest point and then do it for a one-to-one, or even do it for a 1-to-2. You can do the full move and then do half of what your stop loss would have been. So if you wanted to do something like I just mentioned here, so the ATR right here is 15. You probably go for 30. And then your stop loss would be at like 15 or something, or like wherever the previous candle was. Yeah, 15. So there's a lot of different ways to work with this. I mean, if you guys have any questions, any concerns, or if there's something that you're trying to work with, like to make a strategy, because a lot of these strategies do work with different TP stop losses. It's just I use the specific TP stop loss that I use because I scalp. So I try to get in and out very quickly. And that's why we have a negative risk to reward, but we typically have a very high win rate. So, all right, Maria, we'll see you back here tomorrow. Henry's going to go visit, study the strategies. All right, cool. All right, guys, it's 7:49 right now. If you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Otherwise, I'm going to wrap this up for the day and we're going to close it out. I don't think there's anything else for us to look for here. I was looking for a breakout continuation, hopefully, but nothing came up. Everything else here is pretty much fine. You guys have saw the win rate. So the loss for today was long overdue. And we pretty much recouped most of it from the two other trades from today. So, all right, guys, if there's any other questions, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, I will see you guys back here tomorrow for the next live session. Vimal is asking, when can we use a new indicator? Hopefully by the end of the week or by the end of next week, Vimal. I just need to run some more tests on it to make sure there's no problems, because once I upload it to, and I make it public to our members here on TradingView, I can't take it off. It's kind of a weird thing that they have with TradingView. Once you put something on their system, you can't delete it, no matter what. So I want to make sure that it's good before I put it on there and you guys start using it. So hopefully by the end of the week, if not next week, there's not really too much that needs to be changed. It's just a lot of debugging. So, all right, guys, other than that, if you guys have any questions, reach out.